guys and gals, old guy riding. I had an accident right at this intersection up here on March 7th on the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX. I'm coming down the way these cars are coming down. A van pulled up to this stop sign here, but didn't stop, went right through. So, impact was inevitable. I had three choices. I could go left into oncoming traffic, bad choice. Or I could continue in my lane, and anywhere that I would continue in my lane would have just brought me a T-bone reaction, which wouldn't have been good. Or I could go right. Now this guy was coming straight across. He wasn't making a left in front of me. He was coming from one side road to the other side of the side road. But my best chance of avoiding injury was to go right where he was going. That way I could deflect off of his van. And that's what I did. By the time we made impact, I think my bike was probably at a 20 to 25 degree angle to his van. I ended up hitting the left side of my head, thank goodness I had a helmet on his rear door on the passenger side, and of course the bike followed. He got out, he's all apologetic. I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. Yeah, okay. I understand, it happens. So I asked him for his insurance information. He gives it to me, and then he goes on to state that he would rather pay out of pocket, that his insurance premium is already really high. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder why. So, okay, however you want to handle it, but I still want your information. Please show me your license. Took a photograph of the license, took a photograph of his insurance information. I did have the camera on the helmet, so I'm like, I got it all on video, dude. And I said, you know, I'm going to play it safe. I like a paper trail. I'm calling the police, and I'm going to get a police report. So I called the police officer gets there. I tell him, I got it on video, man. So I go retrieve my camera, and lo and behold, I made the fatal mistake of using the GoPro Hero 7 Black. And wouldn't you know it, it conked out on me maybe 20 minutes before the accident. So now I have no video footage of this accident. But, okay. The guy tells me he'll call me later that evening. This was on a Friday, March 7th. As soon as he gets home, give you a call. Well, what I do, this was like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. Because I deflected off of him, I was able to ride the bike home. And as soon as I got home, I got in touch with the dealership service department. And I talked to a guy there, and I explained the situation and asked if I could come out and get a quick ballpark estimate of the damage. And they said, yeah, absolutely, come on out. So I rode the bike there on the highway, no issues whatsoever. It looked like, from what I saw, most of the damage was cosmetic. Had I hit it more solidly, I probably would have had more damage to the bike, but as it was, I was able to ride. And I get it there, and the service manager, after looking at it, says, well, just from what I'm seeing right here, I think you're talking probably over $3,000 in parts alone. So I'm like, ooh, okay. So I leave it there. I take an Uber home, and I text this guy, and I said, are you sure you want to pay for this out of pocket? Because I just spoke to the service manager at the dealership, and from what he's telling me, it's going to be pretty costly. Well, I didn't hear back from the guy. Never got the phone call. Never got a return text message. So I decide that I'm going to contact his insurance company and file a claim, because obviously this guy's communication skills aren't all that impressive. So I did just that. I never did hear from the guy all weekend. Like I said, this happened on a Friday morning. Come Monday morning, I get a call from his insurance company. A guy there wants to take my statement. So I'm like, that's fine. This is what happened. And towards the end of his questioning, he said, you know, a lot of motorcyclists have cameras either on their helmet or somewhere located on the bike itself. Did you by any chance have a camera? I'm like, you know, I did. I had one right on my helmet. Unfortunately, it was a GoPro, and they are notorious for just conking out whenever they feel like it. So at the time of the accident, my GoPro had stopped running. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to call my client, and I will get back in touch with you sometime this afternoon. I'm like, that's fine, thanks. So now I'm thinking, well, they're probably going to find me somewhat at fault, even though I wasn't. But I could see it coming. I have no video evidence to show them. Now it's going to be my word against this guy's word. Later on that day, I get a call back, and the insurance person says, we are going to take full responsibility for the accident. My client said he just didn't see you, and we will take care of any repairs your motorcycle needs. And they went on to say, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm okay. You know, a little bit after the accident, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours after the accident, I start getting sore in my left shoulder and the left side of my neck. But I figured that was just the adrenaline wearing off. And after a night's sleep, I was fine. And he said, well, you know, if you want to get checked out, then by all means get checked out. We have no problem with that. If you want to make sure, then make sure. We would prefer that you take those steps. I'm like, well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And then I went on to say, I did, however, sustain some damage to my helmet. And though the impact wasn't great, it is highly recommended that any impact to a helmet requires a replacement of that helmet. Now, you don't know if it's been compromised. And he said, that's fine. Send us pictures of the damage. And if you can get an invoice, then by all means send the invoice and we will cut you out a check. So when I went over to the dealer, I went to their apparel department. They had the helmet that got damaged in stock. And I said, can you make me up an invoice that I can submit to the insurance company? And the guy said, no, I can't make you up an invoice unless I sell you something. But what I can do is I can make up a ticket. And that way, you'll have something to submit to the insurance company. I'm like, okay, that'll work. So I took a picture of that. I emailed it to this guy, and yeah, they're taking care of the helmet. The next step after that was dealing with the adjuster. And the following day, I got a call from the adjuster. and he tells me he's going to be out at the dealership probably later that day to assess the damage. I'm like, that's fine. Later on in the day, I get a call from him, and he tells me that they're probably going to total the bike. And I'm like, total it? I'm like, dude, from what I saw, the damage is cosmetic. Now, the estimate for repair came to $8,007. And this guy tells me, well, we just don't think that the resale value of this motorcycle would amount to the cost of the repairs. But I don't know yet. I'll have to do a little bit more research, and I'll get back to you probably in a couple days. I'm like, okay. So now I'm thinking, man, you know, he's going to try and give me the least amount possible. So what do? If they total the bike and he gives me some outrageous, maybe $6,500 or $7,000, do I accept it? Do I not bother making the repairs on the bike? Because now we're talking about money coming out of my pocket. Or do I take money out of my pocket because I want my Ninja? And then I did a little bit more research, and I found out that you don't have to accept the appraisal of the adjuster. You can challenge it. So I started doing some research. I went on to a lot of sites, maybe a half a dozen sites, looking for a motorcycle that was my model, my year, mileage that was close to the mileage I had on it, condition close to the condition, no extras like I've put on it, all stock. And I came up with substantially more than the $8,007 for the repairs. So now I'm ready. I've got my data. I wrote it all down. So when this guy calls me up and makes me some ridiculous offer, I'm going to challenge him, and I will argue it with facts that I have gotten off the internet. I didn't have to do that. When he called me, he said, we are going to go ahead and repair the motorcycle. He said, I was really surprised that your motorcycle is valued at over $13,000. I'm like, yep. He said, isn't that what you paid for it? I said, with the hard bags, I probably paid more to $14,500, but yeah, the original price without the hard bags was maybe $13,300, $13,400. So now they're going to go ahead with the repairs, which are not going to come to $8,007, because apparently the adjuster can challenge the service department, which he did, as far as the amount of hours involved and all the parts that they say need replacing. So that's where we stand. The bike is in the shop, the parts have been ordered. Well, that's the story of my accident on the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX. I should have it back in a couple of 3 weeks, I'm thinking. At which time I will do another video. But as you can see, I am out riding. I am okay. No lasting injuries, thank goodness. So the bike and I will see you in a couple weeks. In the meantime, stay safe out there, everyone. We'll get riding. I'll see ya.